Hey, it's SGU, and today we are talking about MLB The Show 17, upcoming, of course. Can't wait for the release of the game this spring, and today we are reviewing what they put out here in a little gameplay improvements video and talking about a lot of the aspects of how gameplay is going to be changed this year. A lot of it has to do with the ball physics and how it will react when hit. One thing that the previous games did not take into account is the spin of the ball as it travels, say, down the left or right field line coming off the bat. It doesn't always go in a straight line as you get some definite spin on it, and you see the ball path in the previous games as to what you're going to see in the show 17. You'll see some more realistic plays here with this in effect, with the ball just barely going over the bag and then rolling into foul territory. Not necessarily a straight line down the line as you would have seen in games previous. So that's one of the things they're talking about. They talk about different trajectories of hits here, and this is kind of the spray chart of all the different hits that are possible. So there's supposed to be a lot more variety of your opportunities for where the ball is put in play, which is nice. And then they're talking about their AI feeling a little more lifelike, a little more human-like, as far as not always making the perfect play on a ball hit off the wall, or not always taking the perfect route to a ball if you're an outfielder, those kind of things. I like this in theory. We'll have to see how it plays out. So often you play sports games and you feel like when you're playing against a computer AI team, they just know your moves and they know exactly how they should handle every situation. And it just seems a little like, okay, yeah, really? You can make that play perfectly? But now maybe there'll be a little bit of variation on that. Another thing they talked about here that you see going on is the new catcher throwing meter, which I frankly think needed an overhaul. It was really hard in my mind to know what you were doing right or wrong as far as trying to throw out a base runner. And now you've got a meter that is specific to trying to hit that sweet spot on whether you're not only going to get a strong throw down there, but whether it's going to be accurate and all that. So you want to be in the green sweet spot right there that's blinking, and you can load that up as the pitch is coming. So this is kind of, if implemented well, a very welcome change on how you are playing at the catching position as far as throwing people out. Now, I suspect, as everything else has been in the past here with the show, if you don't like that meter, you probably can toggle it off and go back to classic. That's just kind of the way they are. They're always really good at giving you those options. They don't really force it on you. They say, hey, here's the new fielding system. Here's the new button controls or analog controls or meter controls or whatever you want to name as far as the way you can play the game, and then you can toggle back and forth to your favorites, which has really always been a nice hallmark of the series. Another one of the featured elements of this gameplay improvements video has to do with something the community really wanted addressed, which is kind of like lackadaisical throws and some routine plays that end up going for hits because your shortstop gets stuck in an animation throwing too slowly and the runner beats it down the line. I mean, obviously, you know, a little bit of that'll happen once in a while where a player underestimates the speed going down the line, but you should not be penalized and be giving up base hits in the infield just because your animation just was too slow and didn't hustle when they needed to. So they say they've addressed that. The AI on that is supposed to be much better. You're going to also have a lot of new batting stances and pitching windups as you get every year. They said 300 to 400, I think, on both of those. You've got new special team specific animations as far as celebrations and all of that thrown in as well. So I kind of put that into presentation a little more than gameplay, but it's nice to see all of that being added year to year as they do a really good job keeping on top of the little things in this series. It's always been about the little things in the show series, about creating and capturing those little things that make Major League Baseball unique. So that's quite a bit to jump in here. It's always nice to see the early footage, see some gameplay in action. Obviously, we're going to get more when they do their live streams, and we'll get a better look of them actually playing the game. And I'm always anxious to see that, to see how it plays out in real time, not just the highlights more or less that they've given us. But the new ball physics looks cool. The new catcher throwing meter looks really good. I think that could be implemented very well. And the fact that the AI has just been tuned up a little bit, a little smarter. In some cases with the computer AI, maybe not as smart, not really being able to know exactly where the ball is going to be every time, kind of take some false steps. Those things could be really cool and just make this feel more lifelike going in. So I'm pretty excited about what we've seen so far. I'm not going to lie. The thing I'm most excited to find out about in the pre-release coverage is the changes that have been made to Road to the Show. I spend so much time in Road to the Show. I do play franchise also, but you guys know if you've watched the channel, Road to the Show is kind of my number one thing, as I've got a lot of characters going, and I've really been excited ever since we got that trailer that showed a little off the field stuff. Kind of choose your interactions in the clubhouse and hinting that there's going to be an expanded universe, shall we say, for your player in Road to the Show, which I've been calling for years. And I'm very excited, even if it is just kind of the early framework of, beefing that up and having a nice system there. I'm really most excited to find that information out, but it's always good to find out about your gameplay improvements and see what they've done to address things that the community have seen that's kind of bugged them, as far as, the fielding and the lackadaisical throwing at times, being caught in animations. We'll have to see, hopefully, that is addressed and that there are a lot more animations to cover, a way to get a guy out there when you should. I'll also be very excited to see what we've got going as far as new presentation, if anything, what we're going to see to further that. I've always asked for maybe a little bit more ambiance as far as the ballpark. You get some kind of shots that are between pitches where they pull back and they may show you the perspective from the upper deck and a fan there. And I want to see more of that just kind of sprinkled in to make it feel more and more like a broadcast. I'm very much a presentation guy. I really like when you can kind of get immersed into the feeling of the game and just give you all those sights and sounds that are unique to Major League Baseball and being at the ballpark. And I'd like to kind of see some expanded cutscenes of fans interacting with vendors or interacting with each other. I think it'd be kind of fun. We have seen, as the series has progressed, more and more of the cutscenes in between innings as they go to commercial or the fake commercial breaks that you show the fans kind of dancing and having fun in the stands. But I'd like to see a little bit more of that just kind of interspersed between pitches. Now I realize there are a lot of people that just want to get in and get out and play a game, and they don't care and could care less about the presentation. I'm very much not that person. Obviously, I'm making videos here on YouTube, and I want as much presentation as possible. I can always edit out what I don't want making a video, but I want to see all the sights and sounds. I want to be able to bring that to people, and I want to have variety in what I can create in my videos. So I've always kind of wanted a free roaming ballpark cam where you could pull back, not just all around the ballpark like you can in replay mode, but so you could even go from the fans' perspectives, maybe way up in the upper deck, and just get some unique angles and really open up the tools for you to be able to move the camera around the ballpark, maybe even see an empty ballpark and take a tour virtually. Those are things I've always kind of wanted to see. This is more of a wish list thing than something I expect to see this year, obviously, but I just kind of take these times to throw in what I want to see as far as the direction of the series. But like I say, I'm very optimistic. I love this game every year, and I'm really can't think of a time I was let down by any edition of the show. They always tend to build on what they've done successfully and make it even better, tighten up the gameplay, really bring more and more presentation, more and more life-like feel to it as we've gone. And so no reason to think that there'll be anything different this year. Looking forward to it. So what are you most excited from the gameplay improvements trailer that you've seen here? Is it the ball physics? Is it the new animations? Is it maybe the new specialized catcher throwing meter? There's a lot here to look at. What are you guys most excited from seeing in these clips? And what are you most excited in general about MLB The Show 17? What can you not wait to get your hands on and try out in the new version of the game here when we release? Let me know in the comment section below. I've told you what I'm most excited for. Bring on Road to the Show information. Anyway, we will see you next time when we get more info. Later.